Well, what's up everybody? How you doing? I got some major changes to discuss with you guys in terms of the W-4. The IRS is going to be tinkering with the W-4 and big changes are coming, and they're coming starting in 2020 as it's planned at the moment. And so in this video, I hope to shed some light on what changes you can expect and how you might start to prepare for these changes. My name is Mike the CPA, and on this channel here on Money and Life TV, we make videos that cover finances, investing, taxes, and more. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, now might be a good time, because as more information is released on this and the changes start to come out on the W-4, I'm going to be sharing more and more information about it, and I hope to eventually help you tackle it down the line. Now, I already have a very detailed video on W-4, on the form, how it works, how withholding works, and all of that good stuff. And it's one of the most technical videos I've ever produced on this channel. I'm gonna link it down below. Check it out if you have a chance. Now let's go ahead and let's just start talking about some of the changes coming down the pipeline and why the IRS is saying, or why the IRS is thinking they need to change things. So if you remember, back at the end of 2017, in roughly December 21st, 22nd of 2017, that's when the new Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was passed. With that came major overhaul with our personal income tax returns. Now, if you remember, one of the things that went away after 2017 was personal exemptions. Okay, so personal exemptions went away after 2017. If you're looking at me, if you're through your phone, from your computer screen, and you're like, I don't even know what personal exemptions are, don't worry. The only thing you need to know is that they're gone. Now, because there's no longer personal exemptions, we have to move over now. Think of the W-4. Look at this W-4 on screen. Well, if you look at the line item or the box that talks about the number of allowances you want to claim, well, that number really coincided a lot with the number of personal exemptions you had. And if personal exemptions are no longer a thing, and then you have this form over here that wants you to claim the number of allowances based on personal exemptions, well, there's kind of a problem. The forms don't really communicate anymore. So the IRS has decided they need to do a major overhaul on the W-4 and make the W-4 more in line with what the new tax forms appear to be, or the new tax laws are under the Tax Forms and Jobs Act.
Make sure you cover the privacy issues. People are going to want to know about the privacy issues.
Don't worry, Chipper. We're going to cover that. We're going to cover that. So what the IRS is looking at doing, ladies and gentlemen, is instead of having a line item that says personal, what number of allowances you want to claim, they're going to completely remove that. That's their plan. Now, we're finally supposed to get a glimpse of this draft form W-4 starting at the end of next month, which is the May 31st of 2019 is when we're supposed to be able to start to look this up. And so you can search that by looking up IRS draft forms W-4 and see if it comes up. So sometimes they lag on that, we'll see. But right now, the expected draft version of this new W-4 is May 31st of 2019. Now, they were originally going to release this new W-4 in this year, like towards the beginning of this year. And several organizations and people just spoke out and said, wait, especially the big payroll companies, or these payroll processing companies that do millions or hundreds of thousands of people's payrolls. They said, whoa, IRS, whoa, slow your roll. Because there were so many new changes with the new tax forms that these payroll organizations they already had to make updates to the withholding tables, because the average marginal tax rate decreased by 3%. They already had their hands full with that, so they were able to convince the IRS to delay posting that new W-4 until 2020. One of the new things that the IRS is looking for is proposing for this new W-4 is going to be a new line item asking employees to enter their estimated non-wage income that is not subject to withholding. So right now, when you go to work, you earn your paycheck, those wages are already subject to withholding. So what the IRS wants you to do is now report what other forms of income you have. Now, a simple example would be interest income, dividend income. But they're probably gonna want to know more than that. They're probably gonna want to know, well, do you have rental property income? Do you have business income? This is what the kind of information they're looking for. They want to know what other types of income you have that you normally aren't forced to withhold money on. A lot of times people pay taxes on those other forms of income through estimated tax payments. But the IRS is now wanting you to basically compile an estimate and project all of your taxable income for the year on this new W-4 form. And there's privacy issues. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Not only do they want you to report and estimate all of your other forms of income, but they also want to know about what other itemized deductions and credits you might have. So they want to know if you're getting the child tax credit. They want to know if you're itemizing, if you plan to itemize. So basically what you're doing as an individual, as an employee, is they're wanting you to do full-scale tax planning based on what you made in the previous year, and want you to guess your income on all this non-wage withholding income going forward. Like I said, on interest income, dividends, rental properties, business income, maybe you have some side hustle going on. They're gonna want you to estimate all of that up front, so that basically, the way I see it, what they're really doing is they want their money sooner. Instead of waiting to pay tax on that money come April 15th, they're going to want you to accurately reflect that on this new W-4, so that you're withholding money on this throughout the entire year. And so they're really getting paid sooner, and they're hoping that the withholdings will be more accurate. Now, this is from the IRS. It says the Treasury news release said that launching the redesigned form in 2020 will allow the Treasury and the IRS to promptly implement changes to the withholding system and ensure taxpayers have a positive, simplified experience. That is the biggest load of BS I've read in quite some time. Now, like Chipper mentioned earlier, let's take a moment. Let's talk about some of the privacy concerns around this new W-4. First of all, right now, when you fill out your W-4, you're probably, when you give it to your employer, you're probably used to just giving them the information based on what how many family members you have, and this and that. What you're not used to doing is basically communicating to your employer, hey employer, look, I have all these other forms of income. Now they want you to share that with them. Now the IRS doesn't care about your privacy, obviously. They care about how, the main thing for them is how soon can they get paid? How soon can they collect that tax revenue? But unfortunately with this new W-4, it's basically putting people in a position where if you have some side business going on, or you have a lot of investment income, now they're wanting you to report that information on a W-4 and hand that over to your employer. Are you freaking kidding me? This is how ridiculous this thing is. Now, do you think, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've certainly noticed that in most jobs now, in most companies, it's not so much about your skill, it's not about your performance necessarily, it's all about perception. So think about this. So think about trying to ask for a raise, and your employer decides they're gonna go open their file cabinet and see what other sources of income that you have already put down on that W-4. And do you think they're not gonna look at that? I'm pretty sure they are. And that's totally impacted, this is all my opinion, but I'm thinking they could say, well, Jimmy's got all these other forms of income, they'll be fine. Or do you think they're not gonna look at that and say, oh look, he's got a side business he's doing and he's trying to work here. I don't know if we like that. Maybe we won't bring it up to Jimmy, but we're gonna kind of pigeonhole him and put a cap or a nerf on his career. Because so many people have been outraged by this and have been bringing this kind of issue up with the privacy concerns about sharing this data with your employer, there is supposed to be a workaround to this so that you don't have to give all this information to your employer up front. But I haven't seen anything yet. I haven't seen it yet, but there's supposed to be some new online calculator that they're supposed to come out with where you can enter that information all online and get the correct numbers there so that you don't have to share all of this information with your employer. I don't know how it's gonna work yet. I'm still waiting to see how they're gonna do it or how that's gonna look, but I'm gonna be covering this as time goes on and as I learn more about it. And once I learn more about it, I hope to be able to help all of you, because there's millions of people across this country that this is going to affect, myself included. Once I know how to get around it, or if there what ways that we can implement to get around this, I will let you guys know.
Tell them about the other problem I have with this new W-4.
Thank you for the reminder, Chipper. So Chipper has been making some good points about this new W-4. Is that, and besides the whole privacy thing, that's one issue. But there is a massive, massive knowledge gap when it comes to taxes. And so being able to knowing, even if you wanted to get around filling out the W-4 and handing this information over to your employer, and you wanted to use the online calculator method, you still have to have a good understanding of taxes and wages, and basically you would have to know how to do basic tax planning. Now, the good news is I've already put together a video on how to project your taxable income. And that's to help with tax planning. Now, it's already on the channel. I'm going to link it down below. And I have a template in there that you can implement, you can use for yourself to help project your taxable wages. Now, what I'm going to have to do with that is, as more information comes out on this W-4, is I plan to update that for other categories of income so that I can show you guys along the way how you might look at projecting your future income going forward, and so you can get around and this whole privacy issue and still keep your other sources of income confidential. And so I'm gonna show you guys, I'm gonna share that template with you guys in that video, so check it out, and I'll be making further updates to this as time goes on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't make this video to scare you. I don't want to scare you, but I just want to make you aware of what's coming and some of the issues around it. Now, I do think it's not all bad. The only good side is that if you take the time to do tax planning for yourself or work with a professional to do it, you're going to have a better understanding of your overall taxes, what you might make. So there's some positives there of knowing how to actually project your taxable income going forward and knowing where you're going to end up tax-wise. So that's the good thing. The bad thing is like knowing how to do it. So I hope with the videos on this channel, as you know guys, I make a lot of videos around taxes throughout the year, and I'll definitely plan to continue producing videos in that area, especially around this new W-4. So what you can do now, as we're waiting for this information to come out, is keep your copies of your tax return, especially your most recent tax return on hand. See what you made last year and start planning out what you plan to make in the future going forward for 2019. Use 2019 as a practice year. Start thinking about it right now of, okay, in 2018, I made this much in wages. In 2018, I made this much in interest, this much in dividends, this much for my side hustle, my eBay business, Etsy business, whatever. And start projecting in 2019 what you think you'll make by the end of this year. That's going to help you get ready. It's going to help you get in the mindset of what's going to be required when it comes to filling out this new W-4 or working this new online calculator that the IRS is supposed to put out. I don't know when they're supposed to put that out. I have no idea, but I'm going to be tracking it. I'm going to be following it. So like I said, look for the draft version of the form, and as soon as it's released, I plan to do a video on it. I'll be looking for it at the end of May, so the end of this month. So I'm filming this video on April 23rd of 2019, and that's when, so we're about a month away from the release of that form. With that being said, if you like the video, make sure you drop a like before you leave. It really helps out the channel and helps get this information out to more and more people. Definitely, please feel free to share this with a friend, because there's a lot of people out there in this country who have no idea that these changes are coming, and most people have little to no knowledge about taxes. So I think getting them a head start on this information can really help them out. And like I said earlier, be sure to subscribe if you have not already to the channel. On Money and Life TV, we're all about helping people just like yourself become fiscally fit. And we do that by teaching finances, investing, taxes, and more on a regular basis. All right, guys, I love you all. Thank you so much for all the support you've been showing on the channel. Can't believe we're already at 18,000 subscribers. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I love this community. Look forward to reading your comments down below in the comment section. Until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Peace.